Welcome to Intuitive Flow. I'm your host, Michaela Falar, intuitive energetic healer, medium, entrepreneur, and mindset mentor with a mission to help you step into your fullest potential by giving you the tools to rid yourself of limiting beliefs, love yourself unconditionally, and create the reality that you dream of living. It is time to transform your mindset, get unstuck, and step into the highest frequency version of yourself who has unshakable confidence. I am even answering your juiciest questions regarding all things intuition, manifestation, personal development, self-love, self-image, and helping you work through your dilemmas, intuitively guiding you to expand your mindset and level up in life. So turn up the volume and get excited for this intuitive flow. Hey guys, and welcome back to Intuitive Flow with Michaela Falar. I'm really excited about today's episode. First of all, happy new year, because what the heck, it's 2025. Speaking of fresh starts, we are entering into a new era here on Intuitive Flow. And this era is going to be all about embodying the love that you seek to manifest the relationship of your dreams. I know that I've been talking about this here and there for some time now, and I am finally completely dedicated and ready to stepping into this era. And I could not be more excited to help whoever is out there feeling frustrated or disconnected from their innate value and worthiness of having everything that they desire in a relationship. I'm just really excited to help you embody the love that you seek so that you can manifest the relationship of your dreams in 2025. Okay. That is what this next era is all about. And I am so excited about it. Okay. So, inside of this 4-part series, we're going to be diving into each topic. Each episode's going to have a different topic, but it's all going to be around embodying the love you seek so you can manifest the relationship of your dreams. I'm going to be diving into topics like why you keep attracting the same guy in different bodies, healing after heartbreak, what you need to embody to have the men in your life kissing the ground that you walk on, what role self-love plays in your relationships, how you can use your intuition in dating and relationships, and the art of magnetism in dating and relationships. I cannot freaking wait, you guys, because this work is not for the weak. And this work truly flipped my life upside down. And I'm going to get into exactly why or how in a minute. But throughout this series, be sharing some, personal experiences and with these topics and some pretty hilarious and not so hilarious stories with you guys. This is all leading up to my free masterclass, where I will be sharing 5 shifts that I made to manifest and keep, because that part right there is real important, my dream relationship. If you love this series, you will definitely not want to miss that free masterclass. So go ahead, check out the show notes below, sign up for that. The link is there. To kick off this series, we are going to get into why I've chosen to dedicate this next era to manifesting your dream relationship by embodying the love that you seek. My greatest manifestation to date, as most of you here know, if you're not new on the podcast and you're an OG, you know that Bryson is my best manifestation. My boyfriend. Yay. I love him so much. He's absolutely amazing. He is the best relationship that I've ever been in. And I could completely know that had I not done the work that I am about to teach you guys on myself, I would not have even been in an energetic match to meet Bryson. And I'll get into what that means in a second too. But he is my greatest manifestation to date. And it wouldn't have been possible if I did not embody first the love that I sought. A little backstory: dating life was a mess from the very beginning. I mean, I truly never had, my mom and I would joke about having a quote unquote bad picker, right? And that was the story that I told myself for the majority of my life. Oh, I just have a bad picker. That's why I keep on attracting all of these men who simply are not it, right? I blamed everyone but myself Like, yeah, I said I had a bad picker, but it was never like, oh, let me look internally and see what these people are reflecting that I need to heal, right? I had no idea. I had no idea. I didn't know that I needed to do that. I didn't know that the world is a giant mirror of what we think, feel, and believe to be true about ourselves. I didn't know that it was a reflection of how I was actually being towards myself and how I was feeling about myself. I had no idea. So, best believe when I learned that, and I was ready, and my higher self was like, bitch, finally you get it. You finally understand. We had to give you sign after sign after sign in different forms of relationships in order for you to finally get it. But guess what? I've fully gotten it. I am completely aware. I have shifted. I have healed. And I have now embodied the love that I seek, and I have manifested the man of my dreams, and I am in the relationship of my dreams, and I cannot wait to see you know, what happens this year for us in our relationship. But anyways, I digress. I wanted to share this story with you, and I want to share these teachings with you because I know what it's like to feel hopeless, to constantly be meeting different men, but attracting like the same situations in these different bodies. And it's not fun, and it's frustrating, and you get down on yourself, and your self-worth might be in the trash, or you might think, oh, maybe there's just something wrong with me, or maybe I am asking for too much, or maybe I am too much, and maybe I do need to dial it down. Like, absolutely not. No, right? No. So if that sounds like something that you are doing, you're gonna want to keep listening. You're gonna want to not miss the next few episodes of Intuitive Flow because, like I said, this era is all about embodying the love that you seek so that you can manifest the relationship of your dreams, just like I have. I started dating when I was about 14, which is actually mind blowing. And from the very start, it was terrible. Like, I attracted the worst guy. Okay. Like, he was sexually abusive, mentally and emotionally abusive as well. He was into things that you should not be into at that age. And it really did set the tone for my future in high school and in dating. And I put up with that for about a year until he cheated on me, and I finally had the nerve to break up with that person. And then the relationships that I had been in after that were not so great. I always joke about the fact that I have been cheated on in literally just about every relationship that I've been in. And I was actually married when I was 23, and I'm divorced because he cheated on me. So there's just a lot of really shitty things that I've attracted to into my life. And for the longest time, I had so much anger and resentment and such a victim mindset around why is this happening to me? And I wasn't seeing what it was, how it was helping me, and how it was my higher self trying to send me the lessons that I needed to know so that I could move forward and eventually have the life and the relationship that I have now. But it took a really long time, obviously. Dating the wrong guy was happening for me until Bryson. My dating situation did get better. Like, I did start to attract better guys eventually, and I stopped putting up with so much. But it wasn't until I found this work and I truly started to focus on myself, skyrocket my self love, skyrocket my self image, that things actually began to change for the better. And I wasn't coming at this manifestation from a place of like lack and scarcity. I wasn't coming at it from like this needy place, because what repels your desires, your manifestations the most? Neediness, right? So if you are in this state of like, oh my gosh, I need this relationship, this person to make me feel loved and valuable and worthy, right? Then guess what? It's gross. It's gross energy. You don't want to be in that energy. It's going to repel your desires. It's eventually going to repel the person away from you. And that's just not where we want to be, right? And I was, for the majority of my life, seeking outside of myself seeking external of myself for this validation, for this feeling of worthiness, for this feeling of valuable, right? And I, for a very, very long time, blamed, oh, well, it's my dad's fault because he wasn't, a good role model. So that's why I choose the wrong guys. And then also my mom was like, oh, you just have a bad picker. Don't worry. I have it too. It runs in the family. You know what I'm saying? And it just like becomes this like, oh, it's okay to be treated like shit. Oh, it's okay to settle in your relationships. Oh, it's okay. And like, no, it's not okay. You are so innately worthy of everything that you desire in a relationship, period, end of story. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've accomplished. I don't care where you come from. Everyone is worthy of everything that they desire in a relationship, period, end of story. But for the longest time, that wasn't my belief. So if I can share my story and help somebody who is still out there seeking outside of themselves for something that you can only fill yourself, then I'm going to share my story, no matter how embarrassing it might be. It's really funny how when your higher self sends you a lesson and you don't see the lesson, and you just try and kind of, let it happen and then say, oh, well, that happened. And you push to the side. You don't really look into it. And then you meet this new person, and that person ends up being a lesson as well. And then you do the same thing and you ignore it and you brush it off to the side and you don't do the internal work. And it just becomes this fucking cycle, right? And that is the cycle that I was stuck in for years. Obviously, I didn't meet Bryson until I was 30. It was like the end of my 30th year. Right? And I, before when I like was 29 turning 30, I thought the world was ending because I was still single. I hadn't, figured out my life yet. I thought that I did, but then I thought that I found the one. I thought that I figured out what I was going to do for the rest of my life for work. I thought that I was good. And then there was just something inside of me that wasn't fully happy. And I felt like I was settling in the relationship and in the life that I was living and in the work that I was doing. And it was about a year living and feeling like that I just I let life kind of happen, and I settled for that until I finally built up enough courage to leave the situation and quote unquote, I'm going to go work on myself and I'm going to focus on myself and I'm just really going to take this time to grow my business and focus on myself and blah, 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 all the things. Okay. And then like 4 months later, after ending that relationship that I had settled in, I met another guy, right? And I let him swindle me into dating again, even though I had made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to date, that I was really going to focus on myself, that, I just was done. I know that I've shared this story with you guys in past episodes, so I won't get too into detail with it, but like I met this guy and he seemed like the perfect person. And he gave me and told me everything that I wanted to be told and everything that I wanted to be given as far as like love and attention and affection and all the things go that I was lacking in my ex relationship. And why I decided to like go full in was because of how sure he seemed. And then it was like as soon as I gave him everything, he just shut off and completely flipped a switch and like changed his entire personality and like who he was and didn't feel the same as I felt about him anymore. And it was just like the most narcissistic thing of my life that I have ever been through and such a learning lesson. And it was then that I was like, okay, I am so embarrassed. One, two, I'm so sick of being on this like rotation of guys showing me the same thing over and over again but like in different relationships. Like, what the hell is up with that? And it made me start to like wonder. And then I started to do in this work that I now live, breathe, and teach. And I'm like, okay, well, if my reality is a direct reflection of what's going on internally, then maybe the problem is me. Maybe I do need to look inwards. Maybe I do need to ask myself, like, what am I doing that is attracting these types of people? What is going on internal of me that is making these people make me feel like I'm not enough to commit to, right? And it was then that I decided, okay, I'm actually going to fucking commit to what I say that I'm going to do, AE, actually stay single, actually really focus on myself, actually not date seriously for a year, right? And so it was when actually committed to myself, is when I actually found somebody who is willing and eager to commit to me. It was when I started to really heal what was going on inside of me instead of suppressing it, that things began to shift for me. My life got so much better when I started to heal. And when I started to feel better internally, I felt better about what was going on externally as well. You guys, your life changes when you heal what's going on inside of you, because the world's a giant mirror of what's going on inside of you. So, like, if you don't like your external reality, what don't you like about it? How can you shift it? What's it reflecting to you? What are some lessons that can be learned in the situations that you're finding yourself in? That way you can shift them and stop putting yourself in the same situations, because your girl was in the same situation from the age of like 23 to 30. And that is just something that I don't want anybody to ever have to endure. Endure, whatever. You get the idea. Nobody should have to deal with that. Nobody should have to like live on repeat. I think that that's hell. Like, that is my definition of hell right there, is to live the same experience over and over again and not do anything about it. If you are tired, sick and tired of like finding the same guy in different guys and getting treated like shit and not being committed to and being breadcrumbed and all that stuff that we don't want to feel, if you're tired of that, then like, let's make the change. Let's change it, right? Let's shift what's going on internally so that can be reflected to you instead. But first, you have to do the work necessary, which is embodying the love that you seek. And a lot of us don't even know what that means. Like, we don't even know what it is that we want from a man. So ask yourself, like, what is it that you are wanting from a relationship? How do you want that relationship to make you feel? I started a note in my phone a few months before I met, not even months, weeks. At the beginning of August, I took a trip to Kauai. And on the plane right there, I created a note in my phone saying 125 ways that I desire to feel in my dream relationship. And I wrote down 125 ways. And I kid you not, Bryson checks off just about every single one of these. And the ones that he hasn't checked off yet, he's young enough to where he can totally check them off. But as far as the feelings part goes, absolutely, he checks off all of them. I am seen, I am heard, I am loved, I am valued. I know that he knows my worth. I know that he desires deeply to be with me. I know that he loves me deeply, more than I've ever been loved in my entire life. And he is such a beautiful mirror of all of the work that I've done on myself. He's such a beautiful mirror of how I love myself unconditionally. It was when I skyrocketed my self-love and self-image that things began to shift. I started to become a fucking magnet. Heads turned and eyes were all eyes on me whenever I walked into a room, and they still are. And doesn't matter what I'm wearing. What it is my energy. My energy is that I know my worth. My energy is that I value myself. I am committed to myself. I know that anything that I need, I can give myself. I do not rely on anyone for anything that I cannot already give to myself. Understood? So when you get to that point, things begin to shift for you. And this isn't just for people who are single either. Like, this is for you if you're in a relationship right now and maybe your man isn't making you feel like a priority. Maybe he's not kissing your feet. Maybe he's not bowing down. Like, and that's dramatic, but like, seriously, maybe he's not listening to you. Maybe he's not giving you the things that he knows that you are desiring from him. Maybe he's not checking all your boxes. And if that's the case, it's like, one, look internally, like, however you feel like you are being that way towards yourself. So shift that. You got to remember the world is a giant mirror of what you think, feel, and believe to be true. It's a giant mirror of what's going on inside of you. If you're dating and you're out there talking about how all men are trash, this, and that, like, then guess what? The universe is going to be like, okay, cool. All men are trash. No one wants to commit to you. All the good ones are taken. If that's what you believe, then that's what the universe is going to reflect back to you. So you've got to keep that in mind too. Like, how are you speaking? How are you talking about yourself? How are you talking about the people that you're dating? The reason that you are continuing to attract the same guy in different forms is because there's a lesson there that you are not seeing. You are not shifting within yourself, and therefore your higher self just keeps giving you the same lesson. The universe isn't testing you. God, source, universe, they have their hands tied behind their back. You have free will, okay? But if you refuse to see the lesson, if you refuse to shift, then your higher self has no choice but to send you that same reflection so that you can finally learn. And until you do, you're going to continue to get the same outcome. I was constantly attracting men who were emotionally unavailable. Why was I doing that? Well, because I was gaslighting my own feelings. I was trying to be the quote unquote cool girl and be down for like dating casually when the reality is like, that's not the era that I was in at that time that I was trying to date, right? Like, I wanted to be in a relationship. I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to have all of that. That's very much so in my soul contract. Like, I feel like that is something that I am truly desiring it's a soul pull of mine. So why am I out here pretending like that's not something that I want, or that's not something that I'm ready for, or that's not something that I care about? That's weird. It's giving mixed signals, right? So of course I'm going to attract men who give me mixed signals. Of course I'm going to attract men who do not want to open up, who do not want to be emotionally attached. Why was I attracting men who are cheating on me constantly? Well, what is cheating? Like, when somebody cheats on you, how does that make you feel? It makes me feel like I'm not enough. Well, guess what? I didn't think that I was enough. So of course, somebody else isn't going to think that I'm enough. And of course, they're going to go find somebody else who fills that void for them. It was like a recipe for being cheated on my entire life, because the majority of my life, I did not feel like I was enough. So of course that was reflected to me. So do you see the problem here? Do you see what was happening? The majority of my life was, had I really asked myself, what is being mirrored to me and how can I shift this and how can I heal this, instead of being like in my victim mentality, not taking radical responsibility and choosing not to do the inner work that was necessary in order for me to actually attract somebody who's worth my time, I wouldn't have met Bryson. And if, like, Bryson and I, fun fact, we have been in each other's orbit for years. We went to the same gym. We took a college class together, and that was like when I was like 23. We've been in each other's orbit for so long, but we never met because I wasn't an energetic match. And honestly, he probably wasn't an energetic match. I'm not going to put it all on me. Like, he had his own things that he had to learn and work through as well. But everything is for a reason. Everything is on purpose for a purpose. And we had to learn our lessons in order to like have the relationship that we have now. And had I not done the work necessary to become an energetic match for meeting him and for such a healthy romantic relationship, I wouldn't have met him the night that I met him out in the wild. And that's another thing. If you want to meet somebody out in the wild, then get rid of the apps. Hold on to the knowing that you can and you will meet somebody out in the wild. I have never met somebody on an app, ever. Not saying that that's good or bad, but I'm just saying if that's something that you want, that you value, then just believe it's true. Who knows where you'll meet them? I met Bryson at a cornhole tournament. How random is that? And I wasn't even living in Ventura. I was home visiting for the weekend. So anything is possible, but you have to listen to your intuition and you have to like be connected to your intuition so that you can hear the pings, know where to go, know when to say yes to things, and all of that good stuff. And that is definitely a topic that I'll get into in another part of this series, but just know that it all starts with you. It all starts with embodying the love that you seek, getting clear on what that love looks like, and then giving it to yourself so that you can become an energetic match and then manifest the relationship of your dreams. But nothing is going to happen unless you do the healing necessary for it to happen. And that's what we are about to do together. I cannot gatekeep this any longer. I'm spilling all of my secrets on how I manifested a man who calms my central nervous system, makes me feel safe, seen, valued, loved, and protected. And if you are out there feeling frustrated at who you are attracting, heartbroken from the past, confused about why you can never seem to catch a break or find someone worth your time, anxious about when the guy who you went on a date with is going to text you back or call you for the second date, or you're disconnected from your innate worthiness, this next era of this podcast is for you. So join me next Tuesday for the next episode of this series. If you like this episode, please do me a small favor and leave a rating and review. If you know someone who needs this series, share it with them so that they can join us too. You are not alone, and you most definitely do not deserve to settle for anything less than everything that you desire in a relationship. Together, we are about to break free from toxic patterns, embody the love that you seek, and manifest your dream relationship. Chat soon, babe.